If you find trying to do magic rings using plush yarn frustrating, then you're not alone. I have 3 tips for you in this video to help you find other alternatives that are nice and secure. I'll be doing them in order of my least favourite to my most favourite. Option 1. Now for option 1, we're going to be starting our magic ring like you normally would. Now this is not a magic ring tutorial. I can do that separately if you like. But I'm just going to be starting like I usually would, and after I've done my first 2 stitches into the magic ring, I'm then going to use the yarn tail to close it up, not all the way, but just most of the way. So there's my first stitch, done my second. Now I'm going to be grabbing the yarn tail and partially closing the ring. So you can do it a little tighter than what I'll be doing in this video, and you can see it's already given me a bit of resistance there. So I've got it mostly closed, and I'm going to be doing my remaining 4 single crochets into the magic ring before closing it. So I don't mind this option, but it's definitely not my favourite one. Because I don't think it gives us quite as good a result as my next 2 tips. So I've done my 6 there, closing it. It's not too bad. This one is not too bad. I'm just going to speed it up here and do my next round of increases so you can see what round 1 and 2 look like. So as I said, not my favourite one, but it definitely beats the option of doing nothing and just doing your 6 and then trying to close it. So there we go. That's option 1. Option 2 is not using a magic ring, actually chaining 2. So here I'll be starting with a slip knot. Again, not a tutorial. This is just how I do my slip knots. So however you do yours, do that. So I'm going to be chaining 2, and then I'm going to be working all of my 6 single crochets into the very first chain. So got my first chain there, and after I've done the first 2, I'm just going to turn my work a little bit so that I can ensure that I am working over the yarn tail. That's going to help me to close it up later. So just moving the yarn tail around, ensuring that I'm going into the first chain and also over my yarn tail. So I'm just going to complete my 6 single crochets, and you'll be able to see in this one that once I pull that yarn tail, it closes the circle up really nicely. So just give it a bit of a tug there, and that's closed really, really well. So again, I'm going to speed it up for the increases, and then you will be able to see what the first 2 rounds look like. I quite like this technique. I've never used it too much before, but I think it's probably even a better option than option number 1. So if the magic ring scares you, try this. Okay, option 3. This one is probably my favourite one to use. I've slowed the video down a little so you can see what I'm doing. You can use acrylic or cotton in a similar colour to your plush yarn. So take the yarn and wrap it over your index and middle fingers so that you can create a bit of a loop there. I'm just placing it down so you can see what it looks like. It can feel a bit clunky trying to hold it when you're learning, but once you have done it a few times, you won't have a problem. Now I like to put a slip knot onto my hook and start this way. I have seen similar ways, but this is just the way I like to do it. So I'm making my slip knot here. Again, make it however you choose to. Now I'm just picking up my little loop there and using my fingers to hold it so that part of the loop is sticking above my fingers. I'm going to place my hook into the circle and then just do a bit of a slip knot there. That doesn't count as a stitch. I don't count that as a stitch. And now I'm just going to go ahead and place all of my 6 single crochets into the ring. Make sure that you're holding it carefully so that you're working into both of the loops there. So I'm just completing my 6 single crochets here now, and I'm just going to use the yarn tails of the acrylic yarn. I just sort of do one and then the other. I'm not fully closing it, but I've got it for the most part closed now. Now I'll speed you up and just do the next round of increases before I tie it off. I really like this method because I feel it is the most secure, and I've never ever had a problem with it. So I've done my round of increases. I'm going to turn it over and take my 2 yarn tails and just sort of pull them tight, and that's just going to close it up as far as it can be closed, I guess. So now I'm just going to make 2 knots. You can also, I have it in this video, but you can also tie in your bit of plush yarn as well. Now that's done, and honestly, that's not going anywhere. I really do like this method, and I use it more often than not. So I hope you enjoyed these tips. Let me know if you already do them or you try them, and please consider subscribing if you enjoyed it.